What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome to Season 2 of the FUT Draft Challenge. Season 1 is FUT Draft Club Challenge. Season 2 between myself and AA9 Skills is the FUT Draft National Challenge. We've simplified it a little bit here because it did get a little bit confusing in Season 1. The rules weren't so specific and clear. Obviously it's something new that we tried. I think you guys loved it. If you did love it, drop a thumbs up on this video. Let me know that you loved it. And we've made it a little bit easier this time just so that we don't get confused and so that you don't get confused and so that there's no mistakes. I've talked through the rules completely properly with AA this time. You know, last time some stuff came up that we didn't really plan for because how could you? And we've done it a bit different this time. So 5 more drafts. The rules, the concept is essentially the same. I pick a nation, he picks a nation. We do 5 episodes. You get 3 points per win throughout the draft. So if you win all 4 games, you get 12 points. Over 5 episodes, so 60 points up for grabs. The person with the least points at the end of the 5 drafts will do a giveaway on Twitter. So follow both myself and AA9. Twitters will be down below. And of course, if you want to go check out AA9 Skills, his link is in the description below as well. Top quality YouTuber. A better FIFA player than me, but I managed to win Season 1 with mistakes as well. Obviously, I made a lot of mistakes in Season 1. AA made a couple of mistakes. But I won 3 of the 5 drafts. I lost in the final in one of the drafts, and I lost in the semi-final one of the drafts. So even after the point deductions, AA won 3 of his drafts. He lost in the first round and then the second round. So I end up winning by, I think, around like 8, maybe 10 points. This time around, there will be no mistakes. So what are the rule changes? Well, nothing really. The first draft we're doing is Portugal against England, his home nation against my home nation, and the rules are quite simple. I have to pick every single English player. I'm not allowed to pick any Portuguese player. That is that. That's for the picking. And then the second rule is I have to play every single English player, even if that means playing them out of position. And AA has to play every single Portuguese player, even if that means he has to play them out of position. There will be 5 more drafts. There will be 10 nations. The other nations will include France, Germany, Argentina, Holland, Belgium, Italy, Brazil, and Spain. I'll be taking 4 of those. AA will be taking 4 of those. We'll be battling it against each other and seeing who comes out on top. So with that being said, guys, let us start this draft. So the rules are very simple at this stage. I have to pick every single English player. I'm not allowed to pick any Portuguese player. Everything else is open. So if no English player pops up here, as it hasn't, I could do anything with this because there's no Portuguese here. So I could take Ibrahimovic, which would probably make sense because for me, English players are heavily overburdened in the English league. For AA, Portuguese players, he's got a lot more choice there for what he could go with. I could go with Aubameyang, but if I do go for an English league, an English player there, that wouldn't make sense. So we'll take that team of the season as Zlatan Ibrahimovic and hope that this moves us on to our first English pick. So right here, I can't pick Varela and I can't pick Matthias. Not that I would. So I'm actually going to go with Draxler here, the PSG boy, the German. Get some good links to some good players. Come on, give me some English players. Let me get something. So again, right here, I can take Lionel Messi. I'm actually like a little bit surprised at the lack of English players that pop up in draft. Right. So again here, I could take whatever I want because there's no Portuguese here. Skills might struggle with Portuguese players as well. I'm going to take De Bruyne. Obviously, he gets that link into Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So there is our first Englishman. So I have to take Wayne Rooney no matter what. Obviously not a problem. In at that cam spot, he'll be quite good. It's a shame it's not the Man United version of Rooney because he'd get that strong link up in there. And now I cannot take Renato Sanchez, but I'll take Cesc Fabregas. And that gives us a full Premier League midfield and a Premier League striker. So it's just the wingers that we've got to change. Now this is where we might start to see a few more English players in defence because they are more common than the midfielders and the attackers. I'm going to go for Nacho Monreal, obviously the Arsenal legend, what a god. But he gets a strong link with Cesc Fabregas. So that's not so bad at all. And this first nation is quite an easy one to pick, just a random team, right? Because it's England against Portugal. Very few Portuguese players show up. Very few English players show up. However, in the future nations, for example, let's say the next episode was Argentina against Belgium. There are a lot of Argentinian players and a lot of Belgian players. So to not only be forced to pick the nation, but to be forced to not pick the other nation. Let's take Robert Huth here. And then to manage to build a solid squad with solid chemistry. It's going to get far, far more tricky as the episodes go on. But we thought we'd start with our home nations. I can go with Jad Jeje there as well, another Premier League player. So we've almost got that full Premier League setup going on. Only the one Englishman so far. And it's going to remain as such. We'll put Begovic in there. So that is our starting lineup. We're pretty close on getting the full chem team. It's not the highest rated team. I kind of want to be forced to pick some English players. I want it to throw some up for me. I want it to be like, hey, you have to use this guy. You have to use that guy. Ooh, Raja Nangolan. Portugal against England. I mean, I could take Carvajal and give Messi a link and get them both onto 7 chemistry. And actually put Cesc Fabregas over there as well, which would work. Or I could take Raja Nangolan and use him as a sub. And that's what I'm going to do. Because I like him. A 94 rated Raja? Yes, please. So, no Englishman here. I am going to probably take Hugo Lloris just because he's a much better goalkeeper. We'll throw him in afterwards. So, for example, in the French team, I won't be able to obviously take Hugo Lloris if I have French players. If that makes sense. Do we want to take Tremoulinet? No, we don't. What can't I take here? Portuguese. Wait, I haven't taken a Portuguese, have I? I'll take Di Maria as a sub. I don't have any Portuguese, do I? No, I don't. Thank God for that, dude. If I make a mistake on episode 1 again, trust me, you won't see it. I'll just restart the whole thing. Right. Do I take Bellerin here? And I can put him in defence, and that would give us great chem. Or do I take Danilo and give Messi that soft link? I'm going to take Hector Bellerin. I'm going to take that. I'm going to pop him in there. He's going to give us a nice big boost. I'm going to swap him there, and then I'm going to swap Fabregas around there. So 2 Premier League players away now. Now I'm going to put Lloris in nets as well. This is actually a decent team. The defence is pretty shocking. We do need to upgrade the defence, but the rest of the team's not so bad. Next up, Fernando. Doesn't fit the team. That is too bad. I'm going to take Carrasco. I can't take Portugal. I haven't even seen Ronaldo yet. I don't even know what other Portuguese players... I mean, there's a few team of the season Portuguese players that are pretty sick. I've only seen 1 English player as well. Ooh, Ederson. Doesn't really help, but we'll take it. I've got 4 goalkeepers. How crazy is that? 4 goalkeepers. Next up. Come on, throw me some English players. Not Premier League players. Throw me some actual English players. Ooh, do we take Mariano here? We're going to take Mariano here. We're going to pop him in instead of him there. I'm going to swap those 2 around there. And I'm going to give Messi that soft link. And that gives everyone to 7 chemistry except Draxler. So I just need that 1 more Premier League player to get Draxler out and the Premier League on chem. Holebas. I could take Holebas. Let's take Holebas. We'll take Holebas. We'll throw him up there. Gives us a nice bonus of 5 extra chem points. And I think that's the best that we can get right now. This is going to be a high-rated team. I don't know whether or not I'm going to be able to get it to 100 chemistry. Depay is literally... Oh, no! Depay is perfect! Strong link to Ibra would give him perfect chemistry. He would get perfect chemistry. I can't take him because I have to take Jack Wilshere. That is brutal. I'm going to put Wilshere up there. I'm actually going to put De Bruyne up at left forward there, off chem, and Wilshere in the middle on chem. Oh, that's savage, guys. That is absolutely savage. That card would have been so sick. We get a second Englishman, though, so I'm happy with that. Let's get another one. Come on. Make me work for this draft. Now, we'll take Hamsik there. And then 2 more picks. Obviously, I won't be able to take any Ronaldo that does show up. See, I can't take Paoletta either. Can take Costa. I could just put Costa at right forwards. And then Holebas or Jajeji in. I could take Lacazette and use him as a sub. Who have I got as subs? Di Maria, Nainggolan, Draxler. I don't really need another super sub. Yeah, let's take Costa. We're going to throw Costa into the team. We're going to put Costa up there. We're going to get that Premier League right back. And we're going to put him in there. That's going to put us up to 92 chemistry. That goes to 90. That goes to 91. So yeah, it's 92 chemistry is about the best that we're going to get out of this. My defence isn't the greatest either. What if we put Bellerin at right back? What's Jajeji's height? 5'7". Nah, screw that. Bellerin, 5'10". Monreal, 5'10", but high. And Holebas, 6 foot. Okay, so Holebas is going to be the other centre-back. Just because he's 6 foot tall. So he's going to be much better for us there. And then our final pick, guys, is going to be... Silva. Oh, it's going to be... Okay, so this is actually quite frustrating because, like, as I said to you guys at the start, the rules are you have to play every player that you pick that is forced to pick. So I have to play every English player. So Much has to go into the team, which means Fabregas comes out of the team. So that midfield trio of Much, Rooney, and Wilshere have to play. And my rule is, and this isn't a rule at all, I could just sub all 3 Englishmen out straight away if I wanted. But my rule is I'll keep them on until at least half time, because otherwise, what's the point, right? So that's not a bad team. A little bit of errors. What about if we put Rooney up here? Does that help chemistry? No, it doesn't. I mean, I say that's not a bad team. That is a pretty bad team. I mean, we've got Robert Huth and Holibas in defence at centre-back. We've got a very, very peculiar centre midfield. And we've got De Bruyne and Diego Costa on the wings. I wonder if playing Messi... Is there a way to get... So Messi in there and Danilo in here. What does that give us for... Sorry, Mariano. That takes us down on chemistry. What if I swap those two around? That takes us down against... But that's everyone... That's not so bad. What would you guys do? I think I'm gonna use Messi as a sub. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do that. It's a shame I don't have the link to Bellerin. The strong link to Bellerin here, because it would be good to get Bellerin on perfect chemistry. But I'm going to do this and play Messi on 4 and Ibra on 7. I think this will be the best option for the team. I'll leave the rest of the bench like that. Let's get a manager. Hopefully we get a Premier League manager. So we get an English manager, takes up to 87. Calcio 8, 87. 88 with the Spanish manager, 87 with the French manager, and 89 with the Liga Santander Spanish manager. So that's what we'll do. So Messi goes up to 4 or 5 chemistry, I believe. That is fine. In an 89 rated team, 89 chemistry team, sorry, who's madly off chem? So Messi's on 5, De Bruyne on 3 might be a bit of an issue. Everybody else is on at least 6, like 6, 8, and then 10s all round. This is an interesting team. What do I expect out of this team? Realistically, 6 points would be nice. I hope to do my best, but 6 points would be absolutely fine for this team. So that, guys, is the draft. Let's get into the gameplay. Okay, guys, as we go into the gameplay, the first opponent we come up against has got a 69 chemistry team, 91 rated, some very good players, some very weird players. He's got that one dude at centre mid just to give Messi a link, but he could have just put Dybala there instead and it would have given them both a strong link. And he would have then, sorry, a weak link, and he would have given Ibra a weak link as well, which would have given everyone more chemistry. But who was I to complain? I'm very happy when people make the obvious mistakes that sometimes I make as well. We go into this game, obviously I was feeling quite confident. I've got a nice attack on this team, and one of my biggest aims for this draft was literally going to be trying to outscore the opponent, because I know my midfield and my defence are lacking. Not that there's anything really wrong with the midfield. Like, Wayne Rooney is a very good player in this game. Jack Wilshere isn't a bad player in this game, and obviously Much isn't a great player at all as a silver card. But my biggest problem was always going to be the defence, just a distinct lack of pace. Only Hector Bellerin has any real pace. We've got obviously Robert Huth at centre back. I thought might cause some problems, and he did. You know, I was countered quite easily, quite quickly, quite a lot during the tournament. And obviously then having Holibas and Monreal as well, it just wasn't the quickest defence. So I had to keep that in mind, and I did keep that in mind. But what I tried to do was make sure that I could just overpower my opponents. That was my aim. My aim was to kind of just be so high pressed and so high up the field that they didn't really have time to think about getting the through balls in. We eventually went 3-1 up in the first round, sorry, and my opponent decided to rage quit there. I was dominating the game. With that being said, there were, in the second round and the third round, I pulled off Robert Huth at half time and put on Raja Nangolan. I know he's not got the best work rates for centre back at high. It's not the worst either, and I know he's real short, but that pace was it was just important to the team. It was important to get the boys up there, or my opponent's kind of pacey players, and keep them in check. And that's exactly what happened. Into the second round, I thought this was going to disconnect here. It paused for a long time, and I thought, okay, controls down, I'm about to get DC'd from the EA servers, but fortunately I didn't. The ball went into Ibrahimovic, he shoots and scores, and we go 1-0 to the good. And it wasn't too long before we got a second as well. Jack Wilshere plays in Ibrahimovic. A lovely little scoop turn, plays it back into Wayne Rooney. Rooney finds Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic gets past the last defender, shoots and scores and makes it 2-0. And I didn't realise that this guy's abbreviation was DAB and his team name was Dabbed United until half-time, when I saw the team names at half-time. I was like, damn, this guy's called Dab and I'm not dabbing on him. If ever you see a team name that has Dab in the team, and their abbreviation or something is dab or get dabbed on or something like that, it's customary that you dab on them at all and every opportunity. So when I went 2-0 up, I missed the opportunities because I just didn't even recognise what his team name was. He pulled it back to 2-1 with Nelson Semedo, who he actually brought on at striker, funnily enough. He then scored a second goal with Nelson Semedo to make it 2-2 just on the stroke of half time. Both times I feel like my keeper should have done better, specifically in the first chance. You know, the keeper was there for a good save and it ended up just hitting off him and going in the back of the net. And we end up getting 2 goals up to back to 2-2. However, I made the tactical changes at half time. I brought on Hamsik for Wilshere. I brought on Nainggolan for Huth, and I brought on Di Maria for Much, and then I obviously put Di Maria up at left wing and brought Kevin De Bruyne back into that left centre mid spot, and eventually I got the goal that put me back in the lead. Hamsik there getting the goal to make it 3, and here is Di Maria, beautiful little step over. The defender stops running, expecting me to cut inside. I go to the byline, drill it across, and who is there? Zlatan Ibrahimovic yet again to make it 4-2. And there was even time for another goal. Yeah, the ball comes in, lovely little passing move through the midfield, good 1-2s between the midfield and the attack. Rooney and Messi getting into that little bit of link-up play. It goes to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he squares it to Wayne Rooney, and Wayne Rooney slots that one into the back of the net to make it 5-2. And 5-2 is where this game finished. So we get the 6 points that I wanted. I said when I built the team, this team is quite a weird team. It's not the greatest team, it has its strengths, but it most definitely has its weaknesses, and for me, 6 points was going to be a sufficient amount of points with a team quite as bad as this. So, moving on into the semi-final, I was happy with the points tally. Anything after this is a bonus. We come up against a really, really nice team. 99 Ronaldo, 95 Higuain, 95 Messi. He's got that 92 Sergio Ramos. The frozen version of, they're not called frozen cards on FIFA, that's FIFA Mobile, but you know what I mean. The team of the tournament, Felipe Luis, Inform Handanovic, Oblak, not Handanovic, and just generally a very well-rounded team. However, Lionel Messi, who was doing bits for me in all the games, gets his name on the score sheet one more time. The right foot past the keeper to make it 1-0. My opponent did get in behind and score. A little bit lucky to get the bounce of the ball there, but this is where my problems were. Like, if people were able to just get a little bit of time in my final third, picking apart my defence wasn't difficult, just because of the lack of pace and the lack of skills that they had, you know, and me as well. Obviously, it doesn't help that I'm not the best defender either, but the lack of everything involved just kind of caused problems. However, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's been on form this draft so far, gets in behind with an easy through ball, just splitting the defence of my my opponent's open. We go 2-1 up, and eventually Di Maria wins a header there into Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney into Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic with a fake shot, steps inside, tried to go for the sweaty. I should have just drilled that. Eventually it comes back to Lionel Messi. Messi loses it, but gets it back after some bad defending. Back into Rooney, into Ibra, who shoots. It comes off the keeper, eventually out to Di Maria, who pops that one into the back of the net to make it 3-1. I eventually got a penalty, and we gave it to the goalkeeper Hugo Lloris. He dinks that to the top left-hand corner, just inside under the bar and inside of the post. A beautiful penalty nonetheless to put us 4-1 up, and I actually thought that would be game over. My opponent was rage sliding. He was, he was trying to foul me, trying to injure me, just giving me penalties all over the place, or trying to give me penalties anyway. So 4-1 was the score, and eventually we made that 5-1. Wayne Rooney there with a beautiful drag back, shoots and scores from the edge of the box. You would expect Oblak to save that. He even got a good touch to it, and I don't know how it still went in. It wasn't a particularly powerful shot. I was under pressure, I was off balance. You would expect the keeper to make that save there. So 5-1 up in the semi-finals. Apart from a catastrophe here, guys, we are going through to the final and we're picking up 3 more points. I did lose 1 goal back, though, in the 83rd minute there. Lionel Messi with a chip over the keeper to make it 5-2. But there was still time for me to get 1 more goal to round off the 8-goal thriller here. Zlatan Ibrahimovic with the ball roll past the defender, plays that one into Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney finds Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi with a roulette, and then a finesse low driven into the far corner to make it 6-2. And that was the end of that. So 9 points in the bag. Very nice indeed. It means we move on to the final. And this will now be, this is actually I think our 5th final in 6 drafts, which is pretty awesome. We've won 3 of them out of the last 4. So whether or not we can win this one, we'll see. Although we come up against a super team. Hazard, Best, Banega, Kante and Muzonda. He brought off Banega and Muzonda immediately for Keita Balde-Diao. And I can't remember who the other midfielder. He brought somebody else on as well. I can't remember who. And his defence is exemplary as well. And this game was the biggest problem for me. I end up conceding the first goal after losing possession in the attacking third. And again, you'll just see here, all it was is just a through ball. Unable to keep up with the pace. He gets a shot away. The save falls out to Eden Hazard, and he gets the rebound in there. And it was causing me problems the whole draft. The lack of pace in defence, but I was able to score goals in all the other games. Unfortunately, in this game, I was unable to score goals. And then late on, you can see here, I've got no defence. I'm 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go, so I'm all out attack here. And in a fantastic twist of fate there, after me rouletting with Messi and scoring, he rouletted me with Keita Balde-Diao and scored himself. It was a very, very fun game, end-to-end stuff. I probably did deserve to lose it in the end, so not too phased. 9 points I'm happy with. That is the end of the gameplay, guys. Let's get into the packs. Alright guys, so we end up losing in the final. Not gonna lie, not really phased. I'm quite happy to get to the final with this team. The midfield obviously is not the greatest. The defence super slow in the midfield. In the middle of the defence. De Bruyne, of course, out on the wing, not ideal. So yeah, I think I said when I was building the team that I would be happy with 6 points. So to walk away with 9 points is pretty great. AA got disconnected in the semi-final in his draft. So he came away with only 6 points. So after episode 1, we currently hold a 3-point lead. Very brutal on AA, of course. A rare gold pack, a gold players pack, and a jumbo gold pack. My God. I can't imagine we won't make profit back here just because of how much stuff is here. That's pretty awesome. I'm content with that. What do we actually get? Naldo. I don't know anything about all of these dudes. What do we get? A squad fitness, a CM to a CDM. That's pretty good. We get Radu and Gomez. Hey man, that's not so bad. That could have been a lot worse. We get at least a 4,000 or 5,000 coins back from that right there. A gold players pack. What was the first one? A jumbo gold pack. So the gold players pack, no 84 or higher. Do we get an 83 though? No. But again, a lot of a transferred AC Milan player there. A lot of good players that will be able to sell on for any SBCs that come out, bros. And last but not least, a rare gold pack. We have definitely made profit back off of this, even if I don't get any good players, because of the consumables and such that's going to come out of this. We get Lamar, a couple of fitness cards, very nice. We get Stark there and Giappa. But that, guys, is that. So we end up getting 9 points from 12 available after episode 1. That does put us in the lead, like I said. Very happy with that. If you want to check out A9 Skills, link is in the description below. If you're enjoying this series, drop a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.